Welcome to the Publishing Performance Show, the podcast that helps self-published authors turn their passion into a profit. Now, I'm your host, Teddy Smith, and if you're serious about building a sustainable business, then you're in the right place. Every week, I sit down with successful authors, industry experts, and publishing professionals who share their exact strategies they use right now to how they've grown their business, grow their readership, increase their book sales, and essentially to make a bit more money. Now, whether you're just starting out or you're looking to scale your existing publishing business, you'll walk away from every episode with actionable insights you can implement immediately. Now, if you're new here, it would really help me out if you could subscribe either on Apple or Spotify or YouTube or wherever you are. Just simply hit the subscribe button. It really helps the show to get more reach, which means we can get better guests for you and we can help you out in more ways. All right, let's dive into this episode. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Publishing Performance Show. Today I'm really happy to be joined by Kathleen Sweeney, who's the COO of BookBrush. So thank you so much for joining us, Kathleen.
I am excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Well, first question is, why do some indie books look like bestsellers and others don't?
Oh, there's probably so many reasons, but let's talk about look. So if it's looks, it's cover, right? We're talking about the cover. And I think there are a lot of folks who, try their hand at the cover design and it's not their thing. And so, you can do your own cover, but if you want to look like a bestseller, you want to act like a bestseller. So if you're doing it yourself, try tools like our cover creator tool that has all these templates that will help you put things where they go. Make sure that you've got things lined up like other books in your genre. You want to stand out a little, but not so much that you don't fit in, I guess is what I would tell people. And then if it's in your budget to hire a cover designer, you may also be happier with the finished product there. There are people who are great at writing. There are people great at designing, and they're not always the same people.
I'm really terrible at making book covers. I tried and now I just have to outsource it myself. But why don't you tell me a bit about how BookBrush works and exactly what makes it different from the competition?
Yeah, absolutely. So BookBrush has been in the author space since 2018, and we started with a really simple do-it-yourself platform to create your own marketing graphics. And it's funny, when I look back now, it was so simple. We have so much cool stuff now. So we've really added a lot of things. You can create all the graphics from scratch for the social media platforms. You can do book trailers, Amazon A+ content, all those things. And the thing I tell people is there are a lot of nice design tools out there, but they're not all designed specifically with the author in mind. So when you sign into BookBrush, everything is author related. Every time you turn around, it's something in the author space. I just mentioned Amazon A+ content down to swag items. So when you're investing in your author career, using tools and the platform that's specifically for authors really makes sense. One of the things I think that stands out is we have over 300 3D versions for your book. So when you see those people with 3D versions out there and you're like, what? How did they do those? They may very well have made those in BookBrush, and they're from phones to e-readers, physical books, books with hands. I can't say enough good things about that because it gives it a physical presence. So people can see the book in the hand and then they picture themselves too. And it's a really great way to showcase your book.
So those visual images that are sort of the 3D images, that you basically just upload your book cover that you've maybe created with BookBrush, or actually you might have created it separately, and it creates like a graphic. And what do you use those graphics for generally?
So wherever you came across your book cover, whether you made it yourself, had a designer, or it dropped from the sky, whatever, you bring it into BookBrush, the flat 2D cover, and then we make it 3D with just a couple clicks of the mouse. And then you can use those all over the place. The plain 3D version with no background, you might use on your website, on Amazon, places like that. And then the social media graphics that we have, or that you can make for all the different platforms, Facebook, Instagram, motion graphics can go on TikTok and YouTube. And of course, you can put motion graphics on Facebook and Instagram too. But all those help just put your book out there and create that social proof. So if somebody says, have you seen the book from Teddy Smith? And you look up Teddy Smith and there's nothing there but like a cactus and one other post, they might move to somebody else in that genre. But if you've created a lot of graphics, been doing a lot of posting, then when people look at you up, there's that social proof. You look like you're the author that you want people to know you are.
Right. And so these graphics, how can you decide which is the right one for your type of book?
So it depends on your type of book and the platform where you're going to post it. So, there are certain sizes for Instagram, Facebook, things like that. But then we have a lot of templates that are by genre. So you want to make sure that if you're posting a graphic for crime thriller that you don't have a lot of pink and purple flowers and give off that confusing message. So you want it to kind of align. And then we have font pairing, blog posts, and things like that, because the font makes a difference too. I'm kind of a font nerd. So some fonts might give off a romancy feel or a sci-fi feel, and you kind of know them when you see them, but you might just be in love with a font that you're like, oh, that's really pretty or eye-catching. Turns out it's giving off the wrong vibe. So you don't want this historical feel from the font for your sci-fi book. So all those things we put together in templates, and then we have blog posts and things to help with that, so that when you are putting these graphics together, they help communicate everything. So it's a full picture for your reader.
A lot of people at the moment talk about tropes in book covers, because I think a lot of authors are going away from tropes sometimes and trying to create something that's a bit more unique. And that approach is often not really working, because you end up not really talking to the right target audience. Is it the same with graphics, where you need to keep those, the look and feel for the audience that you're trying to get to?
Well, we talk sometimes about author branding, so you want to keep your same look and feel for your posts. So figure out what your author colors are. Maybe you have a branded font and you have those kind of things reoccurring on your author page. Now, I love trope graphics. I've coined the term adorably flirty arrows. So we have those adorably flirty arrows that you can use, and you've probably seen the graphics, maybe the book's in the center off to the side, and then it lists out somewhere from 3 to 6 different tropes with the arrows. I think they're great because that helps people that know that they want to read a Cold War thriller, Friday Night Lights, enemies to lovers, only one bed, whatever those kind of things are. They put it right out there. So you're getting your book in the hands of the right audience. Those are the people that want to read it. And it makes it easier for them to find. They're more likely to leave a positive review, all those kinds of things. So I like trope graphics.
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to building your author brand, do you at BookBrush have like a process that you suggest authors follow? Is like a place to start with, and then where you want to get to?
We do have a brand kit in BookBrush, so you can put in your brand colors and your preferred fonts and things like that. And the first font that you enter in your brand kit is going to be the default font when you start making your graphics. So that's a big time saver. And if you didn't remember to change the font, good news, it's your branded font. We do also have 3 brand kits. So we know people with different series or different pen names may have a little bit different branding that they need to do, and you don't want to swap back and forth. But I think when you think about your genre and yourself, find what fits that. If you're clueless, look up some of the authors in your genre who do really well. What are their colors? What are their branding? You don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel. You can take your spin on what they're doing so that you're fitting in that genre, not standing out where it doesn't fit in at all.
Yeah, definitely. And there's some of the top features we've talked about just now is about creating sort of graphic assets, but I think you've got some more features coming out as well as the 3D tools, such as maybe starting to create videos. Do you want to talk me through how that works?
So I think that putting out different kinds of videos, any kind of music, animation, motion, all that stuff, that catches a reader's eye. And then my favorite is the vertical format, because guess what? People are looking at these on their phone. And so when you put that in the vertical format, you're making the most of that real estate. So that's a smart idea to make a vertical video. We have some real easy ones in our custom creator. You literally put your book cover in and download, and it's already got the animation and video background and music all there. And they appeal to all the different senses. So you don't know whether somebody's an auditory music person or they like that motion, but it can keep their interest just a little bit longer by having those kind of things. And then we have a trailer creator where you can create those kind of things from scratch, a little more in depth. And if you like the idea of video, but it's not your cup of tea, we also have We Do It For You services. There's an hourly concepts that you can just order vertical video, submit the order, you buy the hours, submit the order, and you get those. A couple different ideas for those are like the book excerpt reels, or they're like a little mini book trailer that catch people's eye. And then we have full service social media where we do everything for you. If you're ready to just pass the baton and make sure your social media is humming along, we can handle the whole thing for you too.
With those videos and graphics, are you seeing any particular trends that are working well with those graphics? Like which ones are having the most impact and generating the most sales you're finding?
Sometimes it depends on the author and the genre and the followers they have. We have a YA historical fiction. I guess it's really just not necessarily fiction, historical, YA historical books. And those are doing great because in book excerpts where it's just sections of the book, people are looking on TikTok for those kind of things and researching. And so those do really well. In that case, we've helped the author clone their voice. So he gets to read it without having to spend the time reading it. And so it's almost smoother when you have a recorded voice versus him stumbling potentially over reading it. So those are doing great. Some of those, I call them a mashup video sometimes. It's like, do I write children's books? No, I write. And then there's a spicy music and a collage of lots of great videos in the background, whether it's motorcycles and bourbon or whether it's, some romancy, spicy scenes, things like that. People like those too.
So when you're creating those in BookBrush, how does that process look? Is there a library of examples that you can get inspiration from, or does BookBrush help you to choose the right scenes for your type of book?
For those mashup ones, you would need to just put several in, and we source our images and videos from Pixabay, and I believe they have 4.4 million. So it seems like you'd find something that would work for you. And then on those book excerpts, that would be one where we would do it for you. You could hire our article video kind of thing and put it in the request and we can create it for you, or the full service side. Although I guess in the trailer creator, you can upload your own audio. So if you wanted to do your recordings and then put images in there, you could tackle that in there too. So really, I never like to give no as an answer. I figure there's a way that you can do it.
Have you seen any ways where customers have had particular success with using some of the tools on BookBrush? Have you got any good examples of where people have been working well before, but as they've used BookBrush and it's like gone on to really help their sales a lot?
I think it's sometimes helped themselves with the quantity and the number and the ease. So they wanted to be on social media, but they were tearing their hair out trying to do it themselves on a platform that made it hard to do. So what we hear people say is, you guys are a lifesaver. I can just, spend a Sunday afternoon, do all the graphics, get them all posted for the month. And so whether that's a monetary return on investment or also just the social proof and the feeling that, okay, this is done. It didn't stress me out and I know I need it. You can pay somebody to clean your house. It doesn't pay for itself, but it makes you happy. And so if this is something else that you want done and you can do it yourself and you have it on social media, and of course, it can't ever hurt to be on social media. That's where people are looking for the authors.
Yeah, definitely. Now, going back to the cover creators, are there any mistakes that you see a lot of authors use when they're trying to create covers to their books?
Yeah, I think a couple of the mistakes would be too many different fonts. And so I would look up fonts for your genre. And again, we have some blog posts with suggested font pairings, and there's plenty of other resources out there. So pick what you would talk about font pairing. So 2 fonts in your genre that complement each other, whether that would be, depending on your genre, one that's bolder, and then the other one's maybe a sans serif, something simpler like that. And then those are the 2 that you use. You don't want to get excited like, look at this, I've got 5 different fonts because I think they're neat. That's probably too many. And then just making sure that you're looking at other books in your genre and what are the best-selling books doing? What kind of colors are they using? And make sure that you're modeling some of those things so that you fit in with your genre, so that the people who want that kind of book, your cover communicates that.
Right, okay. And how long does it usually take to create a cover using BookBrush?
If you start with a lot of the pre-made templates, and that's what I would recommend to people. So we have several hundred cover templates, and for a wide variety of genres, they're in there. But what we tell people is use that as a starting point so that you're not staring at this blank rectangle of, I don't know what to put where, and overwhelmed. But change as many things as possible because those templates are for everybody. So if you go in and change one thing and you're done in 5 minutes, somebody else can do the same thing. Then your cover is going to look a lot like theirs. So we would suggest, making some different changes. I'm a big sleep on it overnight person. So I guess if you're looking for a speedy time frame, I'm also thinking, do your project and you could spend, an hour in there, put that together, but come back and look at it the next day and make sure you feel the same. Also in there, you can save as many versions as you like. So save the one and then change the color, change the placement, change the font, or all of the above, and save each iteration so that you can look back and compare. And then, of course, if you've got, a reader group, a fan group that you can put it out there, let them vote, or some of your other author friends too. It doesn't hurt to get some input that way.
Yeah, get some audience, get some input from, you know, the people who actually read your books and the ones that are actually going to enjoy it. So out of the features of BookBrush we've talked about so far, are there any that we're missing that are sort of almost secret features that you think really people should be using that maybe aren't using as much?
Oh my gosh, I do so many videos that I call hidden gem alert.
Yeah.
Like, oh, guess what? You can do this. So we like to think of outside of the box ways to use the tools we have. So there's just a custom creator. That's our flagship tool, the first thing we built, but the possibilities are endless. So you can create all those static graphics for Facebook, Instagram. You can do bookmarks, coasters, all those kind of things. And then you can add motion to those. But then I tell people, think of something different. So I did a Christmas one closer, to the holidays, but you put a Christmas tree in the background. You're going to find the image on Pixabay. And then where each of those little ornaments are, put your books. It was so cute, so nobody's going to look like anybody else's because they're your books. But it was just something different, think of different ways to use those. So I think maybe if you're thinking hidden gems, it's not necessarily a tool. It's just ways to use the tools and come up with something a little bit different. I did a video not that long ago of put your book in a bottle. And so it was like the book was the label or it was in the bottle and it just was something totally different. Add a little transparency and really cool. We got a lot of good feedback on that one.
Oh, nice. So what's the process then? Is it just you upload your book cover wherever you've created it, and then you can make these decisions about exactly how you use them by going through the steps? So is it that straightforward?
I think so. Of course, I live and breathe in BookBrush, but we do have a lot of people who say it's pretty easy. So you'll bring your book cover in, and then it's in there for you to use over and over. You don't have to upload it every time you sign on. And the simplest is just grab the community templates. And that I mean, we make those for our BookBrush community. So we've got thousands of those. You can sort by genre or by your need. You can search by giveaway graphics or something like that, and then click and put your book cover in. And if you like everything about the graphic, it's fine. You can download it, but you could edit for a sale price or dates or a different tagline, all those things, and then download. And you can download in multiple sizes. So if you started with a square and you're going to put that on Instagram and then you're like, well, I think I'd like a horizontal for another platform, maybe Facebook, you can click on that and then just rearrange those same elements so it stays on brand, all the same pieces that you had. And then wherever people see it on social media, they can recognize that it's you. Like you see that Harry Potter font, it's Harry Potter. So you see things that remind you, authors or readers would see things that would remind them of you when you stay on brand.
Yeah, definitely. And for people who are just starting out, maybe they're on a tight budget or they haven't used many of these tools before, what are the 3 things they should start looking at creating first with BookBrush?
I think the easiest are just some easy social media graphics, I guess, unless you need your cover. If you need to make a cover, then it's a little hard to make some social media graphics about your book if you don't have the book. So one step would be the cover, doing your cover in the cover creator. That's probably the first thing if you don't have it. If you're coming in with your cover, testing out some of those social media graphics, putting your book in different scenes. We have instant mockups, people call them flat lays, things like that. That's probably our most popular tool. Drop your book cover in, choose a bunch of different images, download in a handy zip file, post on social media. Like so easy. And you can search by different genres in there, different seasons and different types of words. So, or sizes too. So you know exactly what you need and then do the posting. We're trying to make your life easier. Your book marketing life should not be stressful.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have good tutorials on the website for teaching people where to get started?
We have a pretty large FAQ bank, and then our YouTube channel has over 500 videos that you can do like those bite size. Let me just learn something in 3 to 4 minutes that would make my life easier. And then there's longer tutorials, and we have BookBrush 101s every week that you can join live with me. And a lot of times it's a small group. And so, you can turn your camera on. We can find out what genre you write and look at specific examples for you, and then what questions you have. So if you are newer and you're like, wish you had centering tools, guess what we do? Let me just show you where those are at. And so you can get your feet under you and feel like you're doing a great job with the tools.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thanks so much for coming on. I think that's covered all of the things we need to go through. If people want to find you and to get in touch with BookBrush and to work out exactly what they need to do, where's the best place for them to get started?
Just check us out. Our website is bookbrush.com, and we've got a lot of examples on there. And then on YouTube, we are also a BookBrush. And that's where we have a lot of the videos to just whet your appetite. Check it out and think, oh yeah, I think I could do this. So let me try out the BookBrush tools for my book marketing.
Yeah, great. And also I think you've got your Facebook group as well. How does that work?
So we do have the regular BookBrush Facebook page, and then we have a Facebook group that you can join, and we'll post like sometimes an A or B example. We made them both with BookBrush and then say, okay, what do you think? What do you like about this one? What do you like about that one? And other people can post the things that they've created with BookBrush and get feedback from the group, or just show inspiration. Like, here, I watched Kathleen's video on giving your book a glow up. Here's my take. And then other people are like, oh, I can do that too. So the Facebook group is kind of a nice supportive community there too.
Oh, no. And do you have to be a member to join that Facebook group?
There's just like a 2-question, are you a member? And you say yes. And most time, I don't really know that we have anybody that desires to be in there if they're not in there. So we usually get everybody approved in there, and then they can join in the fun.
Great. Well, thanks for coming on, Kathleen. It's been great to chat, and we'll speak again soon.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into the Publishing Performance Show. I really hope you found today's episode inspiring. I absolutely love chatting to authors, writers, and people in the publishing world. Now, just before we wrap up, I want to tell you about our Publishing Performance Starter Packs. These are curated episodes and collections organised by topic that makes it super easy to find the exact content you're looking for. So whether you're wanting to deep dive into marketing strategies, explore productivity techniques, or focus on any specific area of publishing, we've organised our episodes into targeted playlists just for you, and you can find these all at teddyagsmith.com. And also, whilst you're here, let me tell you about Publishing Performance. It's the #1 platform for authors who want to increase Amazon book sales but aren't really sure where to start. Now, this show is all about helping you to sell more books, and if you're looking to boost your publishing game and to maximise your book's potential on Amazon, then Publishing Performance is designed to help authors just like you to grow your readership and to reach a much wider audience. Now, I know that Amazon ads can be slightly complicated, which is why Publishing Performance is like having a personalised ad account manager to create your ad campaigns for you, to choose your best keywords and to make adjustments in real time and to optimise them over time to save you money and to make more sales. Now, if you're investing in ads, you really want to make sure your investment is being used effectively, and Publishing Performance does just that. It aims to make your budget go further, improve your organic rank, and target keywords more effectively. You can get started with Amazon ads for free for 30 days at publishingperformance.com, and there's a link in the show notes to get that free 30 days trial. Thank you so much for tuning into the Publishing Performance Show. I really hope you found today's episode inspiring. I absolutely love chatting to authors, writers, and people in the publishing world. Now, just before we wrap up, I want to tell you about our Publishing Performance Starter Packs. These are curated episodes and collections organised by topic that makes it super easy to find the exact content you're looking for. So whether you're wanting to deep dive into marketing strategies, explore productivity techniques, or focus on any specific area of publishing, we've organised our episodes into targeted playlists just for you, and you can find these all at teddyagsmith.com. And also, whilst you're here, let me tell you about Publishing Performance. It's the #1 platform for authors who want to increase Amazon book sales but aren't really sure where to start. Now, this show is all about helping you to sell more books, and if you're looking to boost your publishing game and to maximise your book's potential on Amazon, then Publishing Performance is designed to help authors just like you to grow your readership and to reach a much wider audience. Now, I know that Amazon ads can be slightly complicated, which is why Publishing Performance is like having a personalised ad account manager to create your ad campaigns for you, to choose your best keywords and to make adjustments in real time and to optimise them over time to save you money and to make more sales. Now, if you're investing in ads, you really want to make sure your investment is being used effectively, and Publishing Performance does just that. It aims to make your budget go further, improve your organic rank, and target keywords more effectively. You can get started with Amazon ads for free for 30 days at publishingperformance.com, and there's a link in the show notes to get that free 30 days trial.